isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Acres, your premier John Deere dealer, has the largest selection of late model equipment in the Midwest. And for a limited time, Acres is offering low rate financing on all 2021 and 2022 S and X Series combines and 8 Series tractors. Qualified buyers can earn 3.9% financing for 60 months. And as an added bonus for your holiday season, if you purchase one of Acres' eligible machines before December 31st, you'll get a $5,000 gift card from Shields. Go to acres.com to learn more.
Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
From Strickville, USA. That's right. We are up in Omaha, downtown Omaha, the CHI Health Center, home of the Omaha Supernovas. I'll flip my laptop around. You'd rather not see me. You'd rather see the practice going on down there. Just getting underway. I'm Austin, seated to my left, the right if you're watching on the stream. Rico.
What's up?
How you doing, Rico? This is like your second home now.
Yeah, I have been, I mean, I got family in Omaha. I grew up in Omaha. 18 years of my life I spent here. But the last few days, I have been making the drive down here to CHI to check things out and make sure we can get all set up. And now we're broadcasting for the first time inside CHI Health Center. I think this might be a first for 93.7 The Ticket.
Look at us.
Maybe.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, who would have thought it'd be me and you?
Seriously. Coming up in 5 days, you will have the dynamic duo of our own DP and Omaha Scott head volleyball coach Renee Saunders.
The legend.
On the call, the Omaha Supernovas, and they're playing Atlanta, right?
The Atlanta Vibe.
The Atlanta Vibe.
First game ever in the Pro Volleyball Federation. And a little bit of breaking news from earlier today is that not only can you listen to the match on 93.7 The Ticket, but you can also, if you're in the Omaha area, listen to it on 95.7 The Boss FM radio, 1690 AM radio here in Omaha. You can listen to the games as well as 93.7 being the flagship is going to be having 95.7 The Boss and 1690 they will have our broadcast as well. And I mean, earlier when we announced that we were the flagship, obviously you can listen on KRVN and the Rural Radio Network as well. So we're all across the state with this Supernovas stuff, and it's fantastic. It's amazing. Also, if you for whatever reason, which how dare you, can't listen on the radio or the app, or I believe we might also be, not live streaming the game, but live streaming the audio at least. You can watch it on TV or on an app as the Professional Volleyball Federation, the Pro Volleyball Federation, announces Bally Live and Stadium as media rights partners. Bally Live will broadcast a majority of the live matches for free. Free, everybody. You don't have to pay anything. No subscription. None of that peacock
not free 50,
nonsense.
not free 30,
No.
not free 99.
Free. 3.00. Live matches free on the Bally Live app during the 2024 inaugural season with a minimum of 40 matches slated for the platform. Stadium will broadcast a match of the week live across its app, websites, and OTT partners. I know somebody smarter than me knows what that means. With 20 matches slated for this coming year, these matches will also be simulcast on Bally Live. So again, if you can't listen to the match, which there's no way you shouldn't be able to, you can watch it Wednesday, January 24th, Atlanta at Omaha on Stadium.
If you had to guess what OTT stood for, what would you guess?
Outside television something.
Close. It's over the top. It refers to technology that delivers streamed content via internet-connected devices.
Yeah, I totally knew that. Yeah.
I know you did.
Over the top.
You nailed
it. I'm a genius. Thank you.
So to summarize everything Rico's saying, there is no reason, there is no excuse you can give us to not be watching or listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Exactly.
Whether it's the Supernovas, whether it's your favorite show, whether it's your least favorite show, there is no way you can escape us. We are expanding our reach. Omaha, we coming.
We are everywhere.
They're everywhere.
There's no escape.
Also, I apologize if our voices sound a little funky. We don't know how loud or quiet we're being outside of this. We had a very conversational tone before, so we're trying to keep it there, but they are the Supernovas just getting underway with their practice, so we're trying not to
We don't want to disturb them. They do have mute. Hold on. They do still have music going on.
They do.
And it's decently loud. I don't think they can hear us.
They better not be able to. We couldn't hear them from down there. Really.
Yeah, but even then, I just don't want to. I don't want to distract them. I mean, they're warming up right now. They're doing their stretches and everything. But still, I don't want to bother them.
We are getting a couple funny looks from other people down. I was about to say the baseline, the end line. I suppose it would be in volleyball. But
they're setting up
we were told and we were asked to be here, so we're going to try to be respectful and appreciative of the space that we're in today.
They're setting up the cameras, the very fancy Hawkeye cameras that if you watch tennis, that you know exactly what those are, where if the ball is called out, if the ball is called in, they can review the cameras and see exactly where it landed, where it was, and make the out or in call pretty accurately, probably 99.99% accurately. So there won't be as many officials on the court, but they will have, the up official will have a iPad that will show him or her if the ball was in or out. So not a lot necessary from the up official aside from calling some in the net and other violations that occur around that area. But out of bounds calls will be handled by a ton of cameras around the court.
Yeah, I mean there are at least four of them.
There'll be two more down there and probably two more over here
on this side.
Yeah,
so that'd be, if my math is correct, 8 cameras
at least.
Yeah. Get the overhead camera too from underneath.
That one's cool.
The Jumbotron.
I like that one. So they had it when they were practicing. They had it. They look like ants. Like the players look like ants, but it's a cool overhead.
Well, maybe
shot.
some of them are.
And how dare you? It's a cool overhead shot. And if they could zoom out a little, if they could raise the Jumbotron up a little bit and get the entire court in that shot, it'd be awesome.
Okay, you're the volleyball guy at the Ticket.
Okay, careful.
You are. This is your lane.
Careful now.
What is your favorite view for volleyball? Do you like the TV angle? Do you like the straight on from the end line of the court, or do you like the overhead?
So when it's live, I don't mind being behind the play, on the end line.
Mm-hmm.
But for TV, I like the side angle shot. From directly behind the up official or in front of the up official. Yeah. I don't like the end line, baseline, whatever you want to call it, shot on television. I know that it's the same if it was live, but it just bothers me on TV.
Right. I think we've become so accustomed to what the TV angle is. It makes sense why they put it there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think especially for, people like me who are still trying to learn the sport of volleyball, that I'm being paid to pretend like I know something about volleyball, so my goal is to not just have to pretend moving forward.
Nah, you'll be good.
But it's these behind the end line shots, and even from up above, right? Like, I know what a football play looks like. I know what a basketball play looks like. I don't know what a volleyball play looks like.
Really?
So to be able to
Yeah, you're right.
To see, like, from the top down, like, hey, when is this person moving? Why are they moving? Like Coach Saunders was saying when we had her on Old School, is that Monday or Tuesday, whatever day that was, like, the importance of space in volleyball, to see how the players keep that spacing, what good spacing looks like and bad. Like, I'm a sucker for that end zone view behind a play, so you can see kind of what the quarterback is seeing, right, for football. I feel like for people like me in volleyball, that would go a long way to kind of see, you know, what the passer's seeing, what the setter's seeing, and then even like some of the angles for the hitter to some degree.
So for me, I've watched enough of it. Look, I'm not a professional by any means. I'm not going to pretend to know all that there is to know, or even half of what there is to know about volleyball. I'm still learning. I'm still a novice at this game, even though I've been covering it for 2 years. So I'm not going to pretend to know that. But I just know that being down on the court, which I've had the luxury and the privilege of being down there for a few matches, it's so much faster down on the court. It speeds things up. It's so much louder, and hearing the conversations between the athletes during the play and seeing what's going on, it just changes your perspective on things so much. Because look, at the Bob, you're all the way up in the corner when you're media, so you're looking down and you're, you know, doing your own thing, listening, watching. You can't hear like a bunch of the conversations, but when you're down on the court and you're listening to what they're saying and how the players are developing and who's calling for the ball and where each person is, and the speed at which everything happens, where the setter, you know, sets it up for somebody who's calling for it or isn't calling for it, and they just know who's going to get it. And then, you know, watching the hitter like read the block in real time while they're up in the air and finding out a way to either tool it, tip it, you know, put all of their power into it is just, it takes things to another level. And look, that's just the college game. Like at the professional level, listening to them communicate on the court was fantastic. Like I don't understand how they're able to process things, especially the setters, like listening to Natalia process things so quickly and call things out for her attackers, and then her ability to like know, because look, they all know each other, but they all haven't played with each other all that much until they started getting into training camp and now practicing all of this. So she in real time is sitting there setting the ball up for all of these different attackers. They all have different places where they like the ball, and during one of the practices I could just see her setting it. And then, like, you know, the attacker hits it, and she looks at them. She's like, "Is that good?" And they're like, "A little higher, a little off to this side, a little of that." And the very next time that they're up in the line, she gets it exactly, and they're like, "Yep, that's it." And she's like, "There you go, that's what." And she's just getting it every time. Like the attention to detail for these players is just next level, because they, like I said, they all like it in different spots. So if you're, you know, more like I want it a little higher and off to the left, or you're you're a lefty or a righty, like you want it on either side, you want it a little lower, a little tighter than that, a little farther off. But she's just nailing it every time. Her and Sydney Hilly, the other setter out of Wisconsin, like they're just amazing. It
still pains me to have to root for a Wisconsin Badger. Like, I'm going to do it because
shout out to Sydney Hilly and Danielle Hart.
Yeah, I mean, they're honorary Nebraskans now since they're playing for the Omaha Supernovas, but I'm not going to lie, Rico, it's going to take me a while to actually like come to grips with it.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll get over it. It's not like they beat Nebraska for a national championship or anything.
Yeah, no. Which, speaking of that, we'll dive into a little bit of the goings on in this building that the Supernovas call home, that we call our second home here at 93.7, the ticket for broadcasting. Do want to make sure we shout out Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul for sponsoring on the block 2 to 4 weekdays here on 93.7, the ticket. Also, Good Sense. It is a Good Sense Friday at the ticket. They showed up just in time. Rico's on his way out the door. He was able to snag the sandwiches, so really appreciate them.
Yeah, I did. That was delicious.
And if you have any thoughts on anything that we're talking about, you can be a part of the show. Either leave a comment on stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, or you can send us a text at 402-464-5685. That is our starter Heyman text line. All right, Rico, I want to dive into CHI Health Center, just as a building, right? Wonderful arena. Obviously hasn't always been called the CHI Health Center.
Nope.
I get that.
Shout out to the Quest Center.
It will always be the Quest Center to me.
Always and forever and always.
Yes, that is the one true name of this arena. But Rico, in sports, I think if you go to enough games, and I know that we are extremely fortunate and blessed in our profession to likely have gone to more games than most people, right? But I have two, quote unquote, houses of horror in my, not even just sports fandom, but kind of like broadcasting life.
Yeah.
The first house of horrors that I have is just the entire city of Minneapolis. I've gone to 2 Husker football games up there. One of them was 54-35 Minnesota. Nebraska got absolutely run through by the Golden Gophers.
Destroyed.
Was not good. It was cold as all get out. Best press box spread I've ever had in my life, though. Okay. So Minnesota, that's the first game. Went back for a football game year or two later, I think. That was the Hoodie Gate game.
Oh,
the No Federal Star 35-7 Minnesota beats Nebraska.
That was ridiculous. They're wearing hoodies and they're soft. What are you doing? You were wearing a hoodie. What are you doing?
And then to cap it off, the last game I called in college was Nebraska at Minnesota men's basketball in the barn. Minnesota hung 100 on the Huskers that game. Okay, so I am traumatically scarred by my trips to Minneapolis. Like, I love the city. It's a nice place. It's an easy drive. The other
you do a show with a guy who loves Minnesota, right?
Yeah, I know.
Like, have you told him this?
I'm sure it's come up at some point.
Have you told him, like, I can't stay in the state where you grew up?
Well, no, I love the state. I want to love it even more, but I just am not allowed to go to a Nebraska game in Minnesota.
Austin, it's
like,
impossible.
don't take me.
You can't love it anymore.
Well, I'm trying. I'm trying.
It's impossible. I'm sorry.
Well, my other house of horrors is the one we're sitting in right now.
Really?
CHI Health Center.
Really?
Rico, I have been to a whopping 2 events here. Okay. The first event that I went to would have been in 2017.
Okay.
Or spring of 2018. Yeah, spring of 2018.
Okay.
Okay. The NCAA tournament being hosted in Omaha.
Okay.
The Sweet 16 and the Elite 8.
Oh, yeah, that was Duke and Syracuse.
It was Duke and Syracuse and Kansas and Clemson.
Yep. So me and my wife, she's a Duke fan. I'm a Syracuse fan.
Oh, God bless her.
We got shirts. God bless me. I'm the one that has to deal with it. We got shirts. I got a Syracuse shirt. She got a Duke shirt. And we both got high top white Air Forces because we were going to come to the game.
Dang.
And we ended up not going, unfortunately.
Okay.
But we were excited. We're like, we're going to go. And we're going to be in the same arena as Coach K and Jim Boeheim. And it's going to be so cool. And then we didn't go. But we watched it.
So I bought tickets for the Duke-Kansas game ahead of time. I did not buy Sweet 16 tickets. I bought Elite 8 tickets. I was just that confident, but also scared out of my mind.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
Syracuse annoys me.
Yes, I know.
They are very rarely actually good, but they're just good enough that they can get hot or they can just be a pest. So, especially given that it was a conference opponent in the NCAA tournament, the Duke fan in me was worried. Well, they dispatched of Syracuse. Kansas handles Clemson. No
Syracuse
big deal.
was robbed.
Hey, we're not. Speaking of robbed, though, that Elite 8 game, I can see it right now. Section 215 or 216 up there in the top right corner.
Right over there.
Yep, right over there. That kind of diagonal overhang.
The little pizza slice.
Were my seats for the Duke-Kansas Elite 8 game. We were going to go with friends. Something came up for them. They had to cancel. So my brother, my mom, and I ended up going. I got to the game late, first of all, like the U12 of the first half.
Okay.
I was at one of my previous stops working a Husker softball game.
Okay.
It was a doubleheader. It was supposed to be like 10 and 12, got pushed back to 12 and 2. By the time those games got done,
and you got down here,
got up here,
found a
got into our parking spot, seats, all that. It's the U12. Okay.
Yep.
Super back and forth game. Ends up going to overtime. I will never, ever in my life,
not a single day,
forgive 2 men, Malik Newman, transfer from Mississippi State, who went off in the second half. Just could not miss. Hit some really just ridiculous, stupid shots.
Go ahead.
And Roger Ayers. Roger Ayers had the worst block charge call I've ever seen in my life. Wendell Carter.
If you guys can't tell, if you're not
Wendell Carter
on
had
the
his
video
feet
stream,
drying in cement.
Austin is
underneath, like not even in the restricted area, right? He was 1 foot.
Look at this guy.
Was up to the lane line. His toe was up to the lane line. His feet drying in cement. Roger Ayers calls the charge. Kansas goes on to win. That team was the Grayson Allen, Luke Kennard, Wendell Carter Jr., Trevon Duvall, Marvin Bagley team.
Marvin Bagley was supposed to be better than he was.
He was a stud in college. We underrate Marvin Bagley Jr.'s college career, but he has not done
His
been
pro
it
career
in
is
the
not.
pros. anyways, that Duke team probably ends up getting. Well, they would have gotten Oregon in the next round, I think.
And that was the what's his name?
Because it was the year Nova won it, their second title.
Yeah. Was that the Oregon team with
Jordan Bell.
Oh, see, no, I'm thinking of somebody else.
Dylan Brooks?
Yeah.
No, that was the year would have been the year before.
Okay.
Because that's when Coach K stopped the handshake line to talk to Dylan Brooks.
Yeah.
So I've been personally victimized. Well, that's the first time I was victimized in this arena. The second time I was victimized in this arena.
Okay.
So Nebraska beat Creighton in the winter of 2018.
Yes.
In Lincoln, I was at that game, called it, had a blast. Nebraska won by 20. Turn around the next year, come back up here. I was sitting up in one of those
204?
No, up in the actual media section.
Oh, okay.
All the way up top in the nosebleeds.
Okay, is that above the 204 or is it higher? Is it?
No, it's like, see where the lights are on up there?
Yeah, up there?
Yeah,
that's the
like the little
section?
cutout.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
the
media
pictures.
section.
The pictures that I've seen from up there made it look so much higher. I mean, it is very high already, but it made it look like so much higher.
Yeah, it's very high. And Creighton starts that game off on like a 35-5 run over Nebraska,
as one does against Nebraska basketball.
So yeah, Minneapolis and the CHI Health Center are my personal houses of horror in sports.
I'm sorry.
Are you?
Not at all.
No, you're not.
Not in the slightest. I have been to 2 sporting events here, both volleyball. One, Nebraska Creighton back in 2022. Yeah, 2022. Where it goes 5 sets, and Hayden Kubik gets the final kill. Right on.
What a random, like, huge moment for Hayden Kubik.
Oh yeah, and it was in the hype video for the net. Like after that, it was in the hype video, and this last year it was still part of the hype video. But it was right there on the left side, right over there. That's where she got
coming
the final
at us
kill.
or going away from us.
Like going away from us.
Okay.
Because I was sitting right there on that corner, like the very corner.
Okay.
There was media all along there, and I was right there on the corner in the front row. So that's, Hayden Kubik got that kill right there, and watched Nebraska beat Creighton in 5 sets. Just a fantastic match all around. That was the Whitney Launstein kind of coming out party
That's
where
right.
she had like 20-some kills, and it was just like, yep, this is Nebraska's been looking for a go-to person to go to when they need some points, and that's going to be her. And she kind of was a little off and on that season, but still, that was a great match. And then my second one, I came here for the national championship game 2 years ago.
Last
2
two
years
volleyball
ago.
seasons ago.
Yeah. It was
2022.
Texas Louisville.
That's right.
For Texas's first of their back-to-back championships, where they
fraudulent.
where they beat Louisville. And I sat right there in section 102, I believe, with a whole bunch of referees who were here.
What are you doing with a whole bunch of referees, Rico?
Hey, shout out to AD for the tickets. Me, my wife, and my sister-in-law came down here, and it was our first national championship experience. It was amazing. But we watched Texas win on an ace that traveled right in front of us. She served it from over there. It was coming over here and just went off of a Louisville player's hands and just came straight back right into these seats right over here. And that's when Texas started celebrating. Logan Eggleston, Asia O'Neal.
That's right.
Yeah. Just it was a stacked team though.
I never got a follow-up from Strick as to how his call with Jermaine O'Neal went after the Nebraska-Texas.
Oh, did he call? He said he called him? Or did he have
Strick said that he was worried about what the call was going to be like from Jermaine.
From Jermaine?
Yeah.
I understand. I get that.
So I'll have to ask him about that. Okay, just for your money, better player, Logan Eggleston or Madison Skinner?
Oh.
I know that's probably unfair to ask, but I have to.
I guess I'd be preferential to Logan Eggleston. There's no rhyme or reason. They're both fantastic players, and you'd be lucky to have either one on your team. But for Texas to have back-to-back Logan Eggleston, Madison Skinner, they kind of, luck out there. They're both fantastic. I would take Logan. I just think she's a bigger body. I think it's not that Madison's bad at, blocking or getting. She can get up with the best of them, but I would go with Logan Eggleston.
I don't think I've asked you about this. I'm sure you've covered it during Happy Hour or other appearances, but Taylor Lanfair and Layla Blackwell.
Yes.
Fill me in. I know Lanfair's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about Layla Black. I don't know a lot about Layla, but I do know that she's one of the better players in the West Coast Conference.
Good conference.
She started at Indiana. She started in the Big Ten, then went out to San Diego. She's from the California area.
Played with Ani Evans, right?
Yes, that 1 year, and that's the reason why she's at Nebraska. Is Ani was telling her how amazing Nebraska was. So she's a big reason why Layla ends up with the Huskers. But she is again a 3-time All West Coast Conference selection. She is a fantastic blocker. She finished with like 3 or 4 kills per set, which as a middle is amazing. And with like 174 blocks, somewhere along those lines, this last season. I'm confused as to what exactly the rotation is going to be.
Because you still have Andy Jackson and Becca Atlick.
Yeah, so you've got a junior and a sophomore who played amazingly. I believe that they were both all Big Ten selections. I think Andy was second team. They might have both been second team.
That sounds right.
Maybe one of them was third team. But either way, Andy was first team all freshman. But both make the all Big Ten team in some aspect. And then you're bringing in a grad transfer player who, again, is an amazing middle herself. So I'm wondering who is going to miss out on time, or if they're going to rotate all 3 in, which is going to be interesting if that's the way that they go, or if they're just going with whoever has the hot hand.
Almost like an insurance policy.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, you need it just in case something happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what we're going with right there.
And then Landfair is like Player of the Year in the Big Ten.
She was the 2022. Yeah, not this last year, the year before. Yeah, so 2 years ago, she was the Big Ten Player of the Year. Had a down year this year.
Because Minnesota wasn't their usual.
No, but that was on due to their coach stepping down, taking like an associate AD role a couple of months before the season started. They went out and hired, I believe it was Washington's head coach. I can't remember his name. His last name is Cook. But he gets there. And
talk about following the Nebraska blueprint.
Yeah, he gets there. But a big part of that whole thing is that when their previous coach left and Cook took over at Minnesota, Laney Choboy decommitted from Minnesota and then committed to Nebraska. So we have them to thank for that. And then that might also be a part of why Landfair chose Nebraska. She has connections
with Laney.
Well, no, I don't think so.
Who wouldn't though?
She has connections with Lexi and I think Becca and all of those players that have played on Team USA. She has connections with all of them, and a small connection with Laney for the time that she was committed to Minnesota, probably. So no, getting Landfair is a big boost, a big bolster to Nebraska's already pretty stacked roster.
And that's the thing. We'll end the segment with this, is that you love continuity, right? John Cook has always said he doesn't want to necessarily rely on the transfer portal. But if you tell me Nebraska adds an all West Coast Conference player with Big Ten experience, and you add a former Big Ten Player of the Year to your roster, like, yes, having Maggie Mendelson around was nice. You like the continuity, maybe see what she develops into. Having Allie Batenhorst, who played a role for this team, her continuity as well on the outside seems good. But also, if you have the chance to upgrade to that level, you absolutely take it and work them in, fold them in later on down the road.
100%. And then you have all of the fans on Twitter and then the social medias who are upset with John Cook for being a quote-unquote hypocrite, talking about how he doesn't want to build through the transfer portal and he likes, getting his players and developing them. Well, that's still what he's doing. He's using the transfer portal to kind of bolster his roster. He's not building his roster through the transfer portal, a la Texas with like 7 transfers this year after bringing in like 6 or something something along those lines. I'm probably exaggerating, but still, they brought in a lot of transfers last year. They bring in a lot of transfers this year. So they're kind of building their roster for another championship run through the transfer portal with, all conference players, regardless of whatever conference they're in. Whereas Nebraska has their roster, but, they lose 4 players to the transfer portal.
Hayden, Allie, Maggie, Caroline.
Yeah, so 4 players to the transfer portal. 3 of them didn't play as much. But Allie, 2 of them didn't play really at all. One of them played sparingly, and Maggie Mendelson, she played from time to time. And then Allie was a big loss because of what she was able to do in the absence of Lindsey Krause. But adding through the transfer portal was necessary because it's not like they can go out and recruit players at this juncture in time. So it was necessary, and that's what Nebraska was doing. That's what John Cook is doing. Kind of not building, but adding to his roster through the portal.
One of my favorite little anecdotes from having Coach Saunders in studio with DP&J was Coach Saunders was telling us that volleyball day, they had all the alumna, obviously in the tunnel underneath the stands, and Coach Saunders was yelling at Lindsay Krause, trying to get her attention.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work.
Focus.
Lindsay big timed her.
Focus.
No.
She said,
So
I'm
focused.
I'm
Locked in.
kind of a big deal, Coach.
Yeah. It's my show now. Quote Lindsay Krause. No,
she said, I know you won a national championship, but I'm trying to win a national championship. Chill out.
My turn.
Exactly.
I'm Austin. He's Rico. We're here at the home of the Omaha Supernovas, the only team that I recognize that plays here. We'll be here 12 more times, I believe. 12 home games for the Supernovas. You can catch them all right here on 93.7 The Ticket, on 95.7 and 1690 up here in Omaha, and, of course, a couple other places as well. We'll be here all show, another hour and a half of On the Block. Plenty to get to in college football, plenty to get to in the NFL. We even maybe talk some Husker hoops. I know you just heard from Bach and Strick a little while ago about the big game and the big ceremony and event coming up at Pinnacle Bank Arena in less than 24 hours now for Nebraska and Northwestern. Plenty to get to here on the show. If you have any thoughts, again, hit us up on the text line 402-464-5685. We'll take our first break of the show, talk some football, and we get back.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Acres, your premier John Deere dealer, has the largest selection of late model equipment in the Midwest. And for a limited time, Acres is offering low-rate financing on all 2021 and 2022 S and X Series combines and 8 Series tractors. Qualified buyers can earn 3.9% financing for 60 months. And as an added bonus for your holiday season, if you purchase one of Acres' eligible machines before December 31st, you'll get a $5,000 gift card from Shields. Go to acres.com to learn more.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today. Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com. Member FDIC.
The Mill Coffee and Tea inside our 93.7 The Ticket studio is now open 7 days a week. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday and Sundays, you can enjoy burritos, cinnamon rolls, fresh brewed coffee, delicious tea, or even their coffee and cream ale. Sold exclusively at the Ticket Mill location. Open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the weekends, right here at 1040 O Street in downtown Lincoln.
It's pro time, Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, are about to hit the court. Mark your calendars for January 24th at 7 p.m. when we host the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation match against the Atlanta Vibe at the CHI Health Center. Witness world-class talent, including national champions and Olympians. Don't wait. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com and become a part of history.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
He can maybe run.
So like speed option, those things, all you want to do.
Speed, I can't see him.
It's also,
Oh,
look
what you did. Look what you did. Look at Bill.
Down.
Come on
Just
now.
calm down.
I don't say anything about semicolons or should there be a
Word
parentheses or
Too many commas over there.
Too many,
Zip.
yeah,
Come on.
run-on sentences. Don't talk about that. It's not my wheelhouse.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here. This is On the Block. Not on our usual block, though. We're in downtown Omaha, the CHI Health Center. If we look distracted, it's because we are watching very high-level volleyball in front of us. We're at the practice of the Omaha Supernovas here. Getting acquainted with the team to some degree. Rico already knows everything going on in the volleyball world.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm trying to help. I'm using this opportunity to say, oh, that's so-and-so. Oh, that's so-and-so. And I don't know if it's helping you or annoying you, but I'm just trying to.
It's helping.
Because I don't want to be just numbers. I want to be able to tell who they are by their faces.
Right.
And a lot of times by their hairstyles, but sometimes they change it. And if they're for Nebraska volleyball, somebody dyed their hair and and for women's basketball, somebody dyed their hair and it was throwing me off so much. And I was just I don't like this.
I recognize you now. I don't.
I'm like, how dare you? How dare you do something for yourself? And you messed with everything that I have done.
We also see Coach Renee Saunders down there. Still trying to get her attention. She's ignoring us.
She doesn't know we're up
she won't
here.
Be able to do.
And I don't really want to run down there and just be like, hey, what's up? And then I have to run back up here.
Right.
But
we might have to.
We might.
You appreciate Coach Saunders.
We might get her on at some point.
And hey, if you haven't checked out the interview, the time that DP&J had her in studio, it's posted on the Twitter account, posted on Facebook. I believe it was on YouTube as well. So make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Rico, what if I told you there was a guy who worked for 8 years with Bill Belichick and Nick Saban, but didn't win a Super Bowl or a national championship?
I wouldn't believe you.
What if I told you that man is now Ohio State's offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien?
That checks out.
So Bill O'Brien worked for Bill Belichick from 2007 to 2011.
Oh, yeah, that was the worst. That was the worst.
You know how
times.
those first and last years went, so I'll remind you.
Shut up.
Okay. And then was back this last year, obviously, as offensive coordinator in 2023. He also was Alabama's offensive coordinator 2021, 2022. And we know this is now part of the longest title drought of Nick Saban's Alabama tenure. So Bill O'Brien worked for 6 years with Bill Belichick and 2 years with Nick Saban, the ultimate winners in their sports and did not win a national championship. Is Bill O'Brien a bigger career loser than C.J. Stroud?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Bill O'Brien, career loser. That's I think we might have to go. We can only have one career loser that we talk about on the station at a time. So it might have to go over to Bill O'Brien now. C.J. Stroud, you're lucky. You lucked out. No longer a career loser. Now it's Bill O'Brien.
Funny, they're both at Ohio State. Have those ties now.
Hey, Ohio State career losers.
I did see this follow up as well. I can assume that you're a Logan Mankins fan.
Love Logan Mankins.
So the Patriots won the Super Bowl in 2004.
Big fan of all offensive linemen that played for the Patriots. Even if I don't remember their names right now off the top of my head, if you tell me their name, yeah, love them.
They draft him in 2005 after they win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He's with them from 2005 to 2013. 7-time Pro Bowler, first or second team All-Pro 6 times.
One of the best to do it.
All-decade team in 2010s. Patriots all-decade teams in the 2000s and the 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
They trade him to Tampa ahead of the 2014 season.
Yep.
And the Patriots win that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So Logan Mankins, also a career loser.
No, don't you dare.
Career loser.
Don't you dare.
Career loser.
Logan Mankins.
He's a C.J. Stroud of offensive linemen.
Logan Mankins is a saint.
He's also he can be a saint, but also a career loser.
He's no Dan Connolly. He almost returned a kickoff for a touchdown, though.
No, that is one of the most legendary missed opportunities in football history.
It was so close. It was so close. And I know he was sick, but I was so sick to my seat. He got down at like the 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, just one more block. Just somebody
or make
get
a
in the
juke.
way. He's a big boy. He's not juking anybody.
Juke someone. Find a way.
You saw him.
You want a touchdown, make the juke.
You
make
saw
the
him
move.
running for the
make
first
the move.
20 yards
That's what I say.
with both hands on the ball.
Yeah.
And then he was like, nobody's touched me yet. And he's like, okay, well, we're going to keep going.
We ride.
That was one of the best. That was one of the best moments in football history.
So Bill O'Brien, I want to focus specifically on his time in college. So 2021, Alabama, the Crimson Tide go 13-2, 7-1 in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
They lose the national championship game to Georgia after beating Cincinnati in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Bill O'Brien's quarterback in 2021 was Bryce Young.
That would have been, yep.
47 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Bryce Young passed for 4,800 yards.
Tiny baby boy Bryce Young.
Leading rushers on that team, Brian Robinson Jr., who averaged 5 yards a carry, 1,300 yards. Trey Sanders, Roydell Williams, who's now in the transfer portal, and Jace McClellan. Some of the receivers at
Brian
Bama.
Robinson was the one that got shot in the leg, right?
Yes, for the Commanders.
Yep.
The receivers for that team in 21, Jamison Williams, John Mechie, Slade Bolden, Cameron Latu.
Slade Bolden is such a great name.
It's really good. Jaleel Billingsley, Ja'Cory Brooks, guys like that.
I know these names.
Alabama that year averaged, I'm on the wrong page. Here we go. They averaged 39.9 points per game. Okay, that's pretty solid.
I'd take that.
The next year, 2022, again, Bryce Young starting quarterback, played in all 12 games, not nearly as many attempts or yards, 3,300 yards, 32 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, but a much more balanced ground attack. You had Jahmyr Gibbs, the leading rusher on that team, just shy of 1,000 yards, but ran for 6 yards a pop, 7 touchdowns. Jace McClellan again, Roydell Williams again. Even Bryce Young got in on the action with averaging about 4 yards a carry for 185 yards. But a more balanced Alabama offense where you have Jermaine Burton, Ja'Cory Brooks, Kobe Prentice, Cam Latu again, Isaiah Bond last year had 17 catches and a touchdown. JoJo Earl, a name that pops out as well. Bill O'Brien at Alabama was a solid offensive coordinator.
Everywhere he's gone.
He was good. Bill O'Brien was a guy that I thought Nebraska might have been looking at to replace Scott Frost. I thought he was going to be on the list for that. Would he have been here for a long time? Probably not. But
that was
I thought
after the Texans, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I would have thought that as a bridge guy, right? He's been back in the college game as Alabama's offensive coordinator. Does he want another shot at head coaching in college? I thought Nebraska was going to take a look at him. Obviously, they go the direction of Matt Rule. But let's talk about the Ohio State aspect of this. Ryan Day's seat should be, as Stuart Scott would say, colder than the flip side of the pillow.
Should be.
But it is not. The man is 56-8 in his career, but has lost 3 straight times to Michigan. Obviously, hasn't won a title, hasn't even gotten the chance to play for a title.
Dude only has
at
3
Ohio
losses
State.
in the Big Ten, right?
To Michigan.
Yeah. In the entire conference, he only has 3 losses, all to the same team.
And most of them in the playoff, the other one to a Missouri team with so much of your roster leaving.
Yeah, and that's like the loss to Michigan. It's the one team that you as the Ohio State coach, cannot afford to lose to.
Correct. So Twitter didn't seem to like this hire.
Ooh, really?
Which doesn't shock me necessarily. I think the general consensus was, retread, he's been around, not exciting, not a good head coach.
It's a good hire.
But I think it goes two ways, right? Like Bill O'Brien is a good offensive coordinator. I would be excited about that if I'm an Ohio State fan. The tricky part of this, though, Rico, is that Ryan Day is making it through until the last week of the year at least, right? Ohio State's not going to be so bad as to have Ryan Day fired before he loses to Michigan for a fourth straight time.
No.
But if you're Ryan Day, you have a new athletic director coming in, Ross Bjork from Texas A&M, which I don't know if that's been discussed a whole lot on this station.
Is that a good hire?
We'll finish it out with that.
Okay.
The hour out with that. But Bill O'Brien is a good offensive coordinator who has head coaching experience. If I'm Ryan Day,
terrified.
Like, are you terrified looking over your shoulder? You should have no reason to look over your shoulder, but are you anyways?
If he loses one game very uncharacteristically during the season, is there a chance that he could lose his job and Bill O'Brien take over for him? I would say no, but
there shouldn't be.
Ohio State fans, if he loses to, I don't know their schedule. If he loses,
I have
to
it pulled up.
USC,
it's Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall.
Okay, you're gonna win all those.
Sparty,
win
Iowa.
Win.
Go to Oregon.
If they lose that game, there you go. If they lose that game, there is a chance that the fans will be clamoring for some new blood at the head coaching position. Again, they should not. It would be dumb if they did, but they could. So if he loses that game to Oregon and they do decide to part ways with him, you would have Bill O'Brien as your head coach more than likely. And I don't know how Ohio State fans would feel about that. But if I'm Ryan Day, I'm not worried. I'm not looking over my shoulder. I guess until things get close in a game.
Right.
And then you're sitting there like, they want to fire me after 8 losses in however many years. They want to fire me after only 3 losses in the conference. I can't afford to have, close wins or close or blowout losses. I just can't afford to do it because, whatever level that Urban Meyer and all the other previous coaches at Ohio State have taken this school to, you're going to be in a lot of trouble for, very few losses for whatever reason. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, but that hire is a little concerning if you're Ryan Day, because it could have just been any other, offensive coordinator. Like, did he make this hire, or was he told to make a hire of an offensive coordinator with previous head coaching experience? Like, that's also a thing, because
and this would have happened before Ross Bjork came in. So
Yeah.
I don't know who would have been telling Ryan Day how he has to hire someone.
Yeah, but if you're Ryan Day, well, maybe your president.
Hey, that's Ted Carter.
Yeah, if you're Ryan Day, slightly worried, just a smidge, but not all that much. Because look, if Ryan Day gets fired at Ohio State, he will be the hottest name on the coaching market, and and teams with coaches who probably haven't had terrible records would consider firing their coaches for Ryan Day.
Yes,
so he wouldn't have to be sitting around long for a head coaching job.
And I don't love that vibe for Ohio State, because scared money don't make money, right? If Ryan Day is coaching tight and looking over his shoulder, that's how they're going to lose a game they should, right? For my money,
Nebraska.
Well, that's a game they should lose, right? Look at Nebraska and what they've done the transfer portal. Come on, Nebraska going to the shoe.
Don't be that
Here's
guy.
the other thing: Ohio State's going to be rusty. They get a bye week between Oregon and Nebraska. Nebraska's bye week is the 12th. Nebraska goes to Indiana. Then Columbus. So Ohio State's going to be rusty. They're going to be tight after losing to Oregon. And Dante Dowdle is going to have a flashback to Oregon running through Ohio State at the Horseshoe a couple of years ago. Go for 2.5 bills, and Nebraska takes down Ohio State. So Ryan Day is now double gone.
Don't believe this.
Anyways, my point is, Ryan Day hired Bill O'Brien to help take some of the play calling duties off of him, to let him focus on being just a head coach. But the second Ryan Day starts looking over his shoulder and getting tight, it derails the team that, to me, is the favorite in the Big Ten next year. Michigan loses a lot. Washington loses arguably more. Oregon has a lot coming back, but replacing a quarterback is always a big deal. Oregon will be good. Ohio State will be the best team in the conference next year.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all, except for maybe who's their quarterback? Who's Ohio State's quarterback?
Will Howard.
Will Howard. Yeah, no, they're fine.
Yeah.
Although that's still, Will Howard doesn't scare me, and he doesn't scream Ohio
He
State
does not.
quarterback.
Correct.
But he is solid enough with the weapons that he'll have around him. Emeka Egbuka coming back, where
Travion Henderson coming back, adding Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah, things could get fun up in Columbus.
They sure could. We'll see Nebraska take Ohio State down on October 26th.
Why are you doing this?
We'll go from there. Anyways, we'll take a break. Wrap up Power 1 of On the Block here in just a sec.
Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we'd like to say thank you for a record-setting 2023. So let's start off 2024 with the bang. They've got huge trade-in bonuses and finance bonusing happening right now on our new inventory at Koppel. Get up to $8,500 off select new models at Koppel. So if you're shopping for a new GM product, go to our website at koppelcars.com. You won't believe the discounts. Make that short money-saving drive down 144th Street. You'll be glad you did. Must have trade and finance with roof credit. Stock number G207684.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
The Mill Coffee and Tea inside our 93.7 The Ticket studio is now open 7 days a week. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday and Sundays, you can enjoy burritos, cinnamon rolls, fresh brewed coffee, delicious tea, or even their coffee and cream ale, sold exclusively at the Ticket Mill location. Open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the weekends, right here at 1040 O Street in downtown Lincoln.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
It's pro time, Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, are about to hit the court. Mark your calendars for January 24th at 7 p.m. when we host the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation match against the Atlanta Vibe at the CHI Health Center. Witness world-class talent, including national champions and Olympians. Don't wait. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com and become a part of history.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back one final time here in hour number one of On the Block. I'm Austin Norman. Rico on his way back. We'll wrap up the hour with some breaking Nebraska men's basketball news. A big deal for Husker hoops. We have a report and updates on Juwan Gary. So according to Fred Hoiberg, Juwan Gary has a calf strain. He's out day today. So I doubt Nebraska has Juwan Gary tomorrow for Northwestern. But Rico, talk about avoiding disaster.
I mean, how lucky can Nebraska be to lose arguably the engine of their team for, a couple of games maybe, and not for an entire season? Because look, sorry, I got the hiccups right now. Because look, if Juwan Gary was done for the season, I don't know how Nebraska fans would recover from that, because all I
feel like Isaac Copeland 2.0.
All I could think about was Isaac Copeland and Nebraska having a good season and then losing him to a torn ACL and the season just going down the drain after that.
So great news on that front. I said yesterday, Rico, and I stand by this, that Nebraska really wants Juwan Gary. I don't know if Nebraska needs Juwan Gary, because think about this. They lost him last year. And I think last year's team was thinner than this year's team. So I think Eli Rice, CJ Wilcher could have stepped in capably and handled business. But the thing is that even though Juwan Gary is a little inconsistent, right, for having that dog, for bringing that energy, he floats sometimes and you don't always notice him. But when you do notice him, you notice him in a big way. So Juwan Gary is not necessarily a glue guy to me. He's an X factor that swings games when he's at his best.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys where even if you don't notice him all the time on the court, you do, like you said, you will notice him at some point. He will make his presence felt one way or another on the court, whether that's getting offensive rebounds, scoring the ball, playing hard-nosed defense, or, diving for a ball, keeping it in bounds, grabbing a loose ball, calling a timeout so Nebraska maintains possession. Like, he's just one of those guys who is going to make an impact if he's on the floor. And having him around, again, even if he's not scoring the ball or grabbing rebounds, just having him on the floor seems like it's a nice presence to have for this team. And being without him, look, they were without him for the first couple games this season. And you didn't know what this team could be because they hadn't played with him yet. But then when he did make his return and he was coming off the bench and then, played his way into the starting rotation, you realized exactly what this team could be. And they kind of, I don't know if reach their potential, but reach the level where you're looking at this team as an NCAA tournament team. So losing him would have been catastrophic. Even if this team is deeper than that team that lost Isaac Copeland, even if this team is deeper than the team that lost him last year, the depth only goes so far, because as you mentioned, Eli Rice and probably Matar Diop would have been guys who take some of those minutes. I mean, that's a redshirt. Is that a redshirt freshman and a freshman, or just two freshmen?
Just two straight up freshmen.
Just two straight up freshmen who would have had to have been tasked with going into the game and playing some pretty key minutes for Nebraska. Now, I mentioned before that you're not going to ask either one of them or one singular person to be that Juwan Gary, but it would take the entire roster. It would take multiple people to do what that guy did.
By committee,
like a Juwan Gary by committee. And you might have been able to find that, but also you would have had Josiah Alec more than likely stepping back into the starting rotation like you had at the beginning of the season.
And see, I would have hoped not. I would have hoped for Eli Rice. I'm still holding out hope for Eli Rice in that
I would
spot.
think so as well, but until he gets comfortable enough or until they're comfortable enough starting him, it would probably be Josiah Alec because he's had that experience in that starting rotation with all of those guys. I think Eli Rice would probably get there a few games later, but I think to start with, especially tomorrow, it would have been Josiah Alec. And then, look, some other things that maybe would have, if Juwan would have been out, maybe, possibly, potentially, we would have seen a Ramel Lloyd Jr., depending on the injury or whatever the heck is going on, we might have seen a Blaze Cada. Like, I don't know, but Juwan's day-to-day with a calf strain, which, goodness gracious, the internet doctors had this man missing the rest of the season, and look, I was one of them. It
was a non-contact
really
injury where he
bad.
just crumpled. You immediately go to Achilles.
It looked so bad.
Yeah.
Thank
Not good, but
thank goodness it's just a strain.
Disaster crisis averted for Nebraska. We did get a question on the text line. Whatever happened to that Lloyd kid? Well, his name is Ramel Lloyd Jr.
And we
friend
don't
of
know.
the station.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Rika said, we don't really know. We've been asking that question all year. We have thoughts, we have theories, we have some connection there, but I don't think it's always our place to share. Point is, Ramel Lloyd most likely isn't playing this year. There's maybe a little hope because he was suited up. He was on the bench on the road at Rutgers. So I'm not saying we won't see him, but to work a guy in just during conference play, that's tough for a guy this would be his first significant, substantial action since high school. So I can tell you that we will not see any Blaze Cada this year. I still believe Ramel Lloyd Jr. won't see the floor this year unless something goes absolutely crazy, sideways wrong. And that's too bad. I think Ramel's a good player, but just, other circumstances I think have gotten in the way. And really just the rotation coming together before Ramel was fully healthy as far as we know. So Nebraska Northwestern in about 22 hours from now down at Pinnacle Bank Arena in Lincoln. We are at the CHI Health Center up here in Omaha. The Omaha Supernovas are practicing. We're sitting above them watching practice. We got another hour of On the Block coming up, presented by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. We'll dive deep into some football. Alabama has 30 players in the transfer portal right now, including 10 of them since Nick Saban retired. Was this Kalen DeBoer's fault? Was it inevitable?
Yes.
And maybe the strangest transfer, Julian Sayin. If you don't know that name, we'll tell you about him next. We'll dive into the NFL playoffs, maybe some basketball as well. Don't go anywhere. Hour 2 of On the Block comes your way here in just a minute.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we'd like to say thank you for a record-setting 2023. So let's start off 2024 with the bang. They've got huge trade-in bonuses and finance bonusing happening right now on our new inventory at Koppel. Get up to $8,500 off select new models at Koppel. So if you're shopping for a new GM product, go to our website at koppelcars.com. You won't believe the discounts. Make that short money-saving drive down 144th Street. You'll be glad you did. Must have trade and finance with roof credit. Stock number G2076684.
If you want all the latest technologies from those big banks, but you also want that hometown feel when you walk in the front doors, choose Midwest Bank. They have top-notch technology. They make banking so easy, and they also have the friendliest staff who will take their time to get to know you and treat you like family. You get the best of both worlds when you choose Midwest Bank. I live on the go, and now I can bank on the go. With Midwest Bank, I have everything I need at my fingertips. I'm volleyball player Allie Batenhorst, and at Midwest Bank, you'll love banking here.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Service Ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
It's Pro Time Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, is playing in the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation match on January 24th against the Atlanta Vibe at the CHI Health Center. Be a part of history and visit supernovas.com to secure your single match tickets today.
Make the 2024 deer season your best yet. Come to the Nebraska Deer and Game Expo Friday, January 19th through Sunday, January 21st. Check out the hunting seminars, browse the hunting and outdoor exhibits, sign up for the Dylan Blind giveaway, compete in the Big Buck and Monster Shed contest, and try the 3D shoot and more. Buy your tickets at the door. The Nebraska Deer and Game Expo, January 19th through 21st at the Sand Hills Global Event Center in Lincoln. 84th and Havelock, presented by Whitetail Properties Real Estate.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, is hosting their annual sprayer clinic at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney, Nebraska, January 31st through February 1st. Landmark Sprayer Clinic offers expansive equipment and technology training on John Deere and Hagie sprayers. Learn about the newest technology, machine maintenance, spray tip selection, exact apply sprayers, and more. Free dicamba certification will be available. Join Landmark at their sprayer clinic January 31st and February 1st in Kearney. Find more information at landmarkimp.com/events.
Next weekend, the Lincoln Stars welcome the Sioux Falls Stampede to the Icebox for the first time this season. Don't miss Princess Night on Saturday, January 20th at 6:05 p.m. Get 4 tickets and 2 tiaras and a Princess Night pack for $75 now at lincolnstars.com. Secure your seats for the Stars versus the Stampede next weekend.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for 3! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
No Strick. It's Austin. Rico on his way back up. He had a nice chat with Coach Saunders, Renee Saunders, color analyst for the Omaha Supernovas, who's home. We are currently broadcasting from. We're at the CHI Health Center up in Omaha at Supernovas practice. Coach Saunders will be on the call for the games with DP. First game, of course, in 5 days. Supernovas.com for your tickets. Make sure you're part of history, right? I mean, I know it's the joke. There's some jest and truth, or some truth and jest, of course, that, you know, the Huskers are Nebraska's pro team. You can't say that anymore. We got the Supernovas here up in Omaha. Beautiful arena. Team looks fantastic. I don't know a whole lot about volleyball, but what I do know, Rico, is that there are a lot of big names on this team.
Yes.
They're going to be good at volleyball, and this is a very high-level practice.
Oh, sorry, I just ran.
How's
up the
Coach
stairs.
doing, by the way?
She's doing great. I just ran up the stairs. I forgot how bad shape I'm in. Give me a
You're good. I'll fill for you.
Give me
Yeah, Bach, take Rico off the stream. Let him get his bearings here. This is On the Block, brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. They're open today and through the weekend down at 29th and Pine Lake in Lincoln. Make sure you check them out. Tell them that On the Block sent you. If you've got any thoughts on anything we're diving into, hit us up on the text line 402-464-5685. That is our Starter Heyman text line. We also want to thank Starter Heyman at 12th and O, not too far from us, for sponsoring our live video streams, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, all brought to you by Starter Heyman. Rico, you mentioned at the top of the first hour, you got enough breath back to join me?
Yeah, I can talk.
Okay. We mentioned Allo, Channel 961, our great sponsor for television.
Yes.
Expanding our reach across Nebraska, right? Not just in Lincoln, up into Omaha, all the way out west as far as you can go in Nebraska. But here's the thing, ticket fans, Omaha family, new family, you will be able to catch our radio signal on the FM and AM dials in Omaha now,
yes,
right?
you will. 95.7 The Boss and 1690 AM here in Omaha. You'll be able to catch our radio signal and listen to Supernovas broadcast with our very own Derek Pearson on play-by-play and Renee Saunders, the legendary. I don't know if she likes me saying that, but I'm going to keep saying it because it's true.
It's just a fact.
Because it's true. The legendary Omaha Scott High School head volleyball coach, who I swear has won like every state title known to existence at Omaha Scott and produced so many wonderful athletes out of that crazy, fantastic program. You'll be able to listen to those two on our broadcast doing play-by-play and color commentary for the Omaha Supernovas starting this next Wednesday against the Atlanta Vibe. Again, 93.7 The Ticket, the Rural Radio Network as well. Shout out to KRVN and on 95.7 The Boss and 1690 AM here in Omaha. So there's no reason why anybody in this wonderful state of ours shouldn't be listening to or shouldn't have a chance to listen to Omaha Supernovas volleyball this first pro volleyball federation season.
I know I'm biased,
yes,
but I also would like to think I know ball. There is not a cooler name in the league than the Supernovas. Like, the only other name that I somewhat like is the Orlando Valkyries.
I say that's the only one. Also, I just saw their court.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going with I think they're all going with the black outline, right?
Okay.
I think there was another one. I think it's the Columbus Fury are also going with like the gray court, like the Supernovas are.
Mm-hmm.
But the Orlando Valkyries going with the wood finished court, not actual wood, but like a wood, like light wood colored court, and it looks so cool with the black outline around it.
I get kind of like TD Garden vibes
a little bit
from a wood court.
Yeah, a little bit. It's cool. I hate the TD Garden, but it's cool.
I'm sorry I had to use that example, but it's what came to mind. Let's dive back into some football here, Rico. We talked about Bill O'Brien being named the offensive coordinator at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
He, of course, had a 2-year stint at Alabama, 2021 and 2022 with Nick Saban.
Yes.
But, Rico, Alabama is getting decimated, absolutely decimated by the transfer portal. 30 players now in the transfer portal, including some big names, right? You thought Jalen Milroe was in. He withdrew his name, so he's back at Alabama. But even take him out of the equation, you lose Isaiah Bond to the portal. You lose Roydell Williams, a name that came up as one of Bama's leading rushers for the last couple of years that Bill O'Brien was in Tuscaloosa. You look at Caden Proctor, the stud left tackle out of the state of Iowa.
Started as a freshman.
Started 14 games as a freshman for the SEC champion, 6'8", 360-pound monster of a man at left tackle. And your SEC freshman of the year, safety Caleb Downs, who had his position coach move on to Georgia. He's going to Georgia. Proctor more than likely ends up at Iowa. But my question for you, Rico, is...
People were saying he's going to Georgia.
I want Caden Proctor to go anywhere but Iowa, and maybe Wisconsin. As long as he goes to, I don't care. He just can't be allowed to go to Iowa.
I hope he goes to Iowa State.
Now that would be maybe the greatest troll job I've ever seen in my life, and I would love it.
That would be funny.
My question for you, though, is not who's the best player among them, who does Nebraska need to go after,
All of
but
them.
is this Kalen DeBoer's fault, or is this always going to happen in a post-Nick Saban world?
This was always going to happen. Kalen DeBoer had absolutely no chance at keeping a lot of these guys. He might have been able to talk to some of them and maybe attempt to try and talk them out of transferring, but there's no way that it was going to happen because a lot of these players, most of these players really, go to Alabama. A lot of the players during this time would go to Alabama to play for Nick Saban. Like you look, I've never been to Tuscaloosa. I've driven through Alabama. I've never stopped anywhere for any significant amount of time in the state of Alabama. But from what I have heard, there's not Tuscaloosa is the college. So if you're going to Tuscaloosa to go to Alabama and you're a football player, you are going to play for the legendary Nick Saban. You are going because there's a chance that you make it to the NFL, a larger chance than anywhere else, really, that you make it to the NFL if you are playing for Alabama. So once Nick Saban left, it was only a matter of time before the roster just got decimated by the transfer portal and schools started picking and choosing which Crimson Tide members they wanted at their university. So, look, it was an impossible task for Kalen DeBoer, and he's doing the best that he can. And look, keeping 50% of the roster, keeping 65% of the roster is going to be hard, but it's something that if he does, I would consider a success because he's going to be able to bring in enough talent, which he is. He's bringing in a bunch of people from Washington and from around the country who want to still go to Alabama to play for Kalen DeBoer because, look, he has a fun offense. He has a high-flying offense. They'll be able to, get wide receivers and running backs, and he brought his offensive line coach, and Washington had the best offensive line in the country. Like, he will be able to develop players as well, but it's just not Nick Saban. So, again, an impossible task. I wish him the best, but, Alabama is going to be down before they get back up.
Which I don't know if I fully am on board with, right? I think there's still enough residual talent at Alabama.
They'll lose 3 games.
Well, see, that's just the thing, right?
That's down.
Bama is still going to be a playoff contender.
Oh, yeah.
I can see them going 10-2 next year, maybe 9-3, but I think Kalen DeBoer is that good a coach. I think Ryan Grubb's offense is that good. And here's the thing. They haven't even hit spring ball yet, right? Alabama will still add pieces. I think getting Milroe back, I'll be fascinated to see what that offense looks like with him at the helm, because it's not going to look the same as it did up at Washington. So you can't just copy and paste from Seattle down to Tuscaloosa. Ty Simpson started some games. I'm not thrilled, by the prospect of him. Austin Mack transferred with DeBoer and Grubb. He was Washington's backup last year. He's at Alabama now. But the other story that I think is necessary to mention when you talk about Alabama and the transfer portal is not only a guy who hasn't played a snap for Alabama, but a guy that might not even have his nameplate up in the locker room yet.
He does not.
Julian Sayin, maybe the only quarterback in this class to rival Dylan Raiola, the only other quarterback to have been thought of as a number 1 quarterback in the class, has already stated his intention to enter the transfer portal. Here's the thing. Can't enter the portal yet because classes haven't started. So he's enrolled. He on campus in Tuscaloosa, hasn't played a snap, hasn't gone through winter workouts or anything, but he just signed his letter of intent.
He's in
on early national signing day.
Yeah, he's going to play in the Poly Bowl tonight.
Yeah. But he's already stated his intention to transfer out of Alabama, not just put his name in the portal and see what comes next. He has already stated his intention
to
leave. And this is where you feel bad for the kid, the young man, because he has said he wanted to go to Alabama to play specifically for Nick Saban.
Yep.
Well, guess what? Nick Saban's gone. It makes sense that he would want to leave, right? No one's going to tell Nick Saban when he's supposed to retire, when he can and can't retire.
Yep.
But if I'm Julian Sayin, I'm almost
Pissed.
a little frustrated. Nick Saban, like, dude, you didn't give me any inclination this could have happened. Like, I signed my national letter of intent, and now I have the stigma of being a transfer portal guy instead of having the hype of, hey, here's a big recruiting flip. Think about all the offers I turned down. Think about all the visits I didn't take.
Yeah.
Think about all the conversations I didn't have because I believe you're going to be here. Again, it's Nick Saban. You can't fault him for doing things his way in his own time. But I wouldn't begrudge Julian Sayin being a little upset.
is there any way that he can just be let out of his national letter of intent? Like, because
No, he enrolled in classes.
Okay, I was gonna say because that happens with some players where they sign and whatever happens. So he's gonna, so he's gonna have to go through this semester at Alabama, knowing that he's not going to be there, right?
Or he can just drop all his classes, be in the portal, and get a late start enrolling somewhere else.
Yeah, it's a weird situation, and it sucks for Julian Sayin. It sucks for a lot of those other freshmen who, again, signed up to play for Nick Saban, but that's just kind of that's the way things work. I'm sure. I don't know if Nick Saban knew he was going to retire until one day he just woke up a few weeks ago, or what was it,
Right.
2 weeks ago? He just woke up one day and was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like,
well, I mean, the
don't
report
know.
from ESPN was that he didn't know which speech he was going to give his team till 5 minutes before he walked into the team meeting.
Yeah, so I don't think he knew that he was going to retire while going through the season and recruiting and all that until one day he was just like, "Yeah, I think I'm done. I think I'm good." And that, look, it sucks for the players, but like you said, nobody is going to tell Nick Saban, "Hey, you can't leave yet." Like, you can't retire yet. We need one more season out of you. Like, no, Nick Saban was just like, no, I just
Screw you, I'm Nick Saban.
He'd be like, I just won't show up. Like, what are you
Right.
talking about? Like, so I don't know. It again, it sucks. It happens, and now you're just gonna have to enter the portal and take some more visits. And look, it's not gonna be hard for him as a 5-star number 1, number 2 quarterback in this last class to find a home. Like, he'll be fine. He'll find a place. But like you said, he'll have that stigma. But either way, you're still a 5-star quarterback going somewhere, and you'll get something.
Okay, guess what his transfer portal crystal ball is for? That's from 3 insiders, such as they are, but there are there are 2 national guys and a Notre Dame guy, which is not a giveaway. It's not Notre Dame.
Can you give me a conference, or would that give it away?
Nebraska's conference.
A Big Ten. Michigan.
Ohio State.
Don't they they have Aaron Noland?
They do have Aaron Noland, who is the number 3 quarterback in this class.
No,
yes,
it's not. That's not happening. No.
3 of 24/7 Sports is insiders have crystal ball Julian Sayin to Ohio State.
So is Noland going to transfer?
I don't know.
Wouldn't
that be very Quinn Ewers of him, though?
Okay, look. Hold on. Okay, look.
I'm looking.
You don't take 2 5-star quarterbacks in the same class. You rarely take 2 quarterbacks in the same class. And I know what people are going to say. Oh, Nebraska did the same thing with Dylan Raiola and Daniel Kaelin. Look, Daniel Kaelin was committed. Dylan Raiola said he wasn't going to go to Nebraska and was going to go to Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Kaelin always wanted to be a Husker, but didn't think that he was going to get a chance if Dylan Raiola committed. So he committed to Nebraska. Then Nebraska made a late push, flips Dylan Raiola. Daniel Kaelin at that point, kind of late for you to do any more visits.
Right.
And also, again, he wants to be a Husker. So, look, that's a little bit of a different story. I don't know if Aaron Noland is the same, but, he's the number 3 quarterback in the class. He can go wherever he wants. If the number 2/number 1 quarterback in the class commits, look, it's going to be a competition. I'm sure neither one of them are scared of that. But at the same time,
it's a numbers game.
Yeah, you potentially had a chance, although until they went out and got Will Howard, you potentially had a chance to start as a true freshman.
Mm-hmm.
If you go somewhere else, you'll have a chance to start as a true freshman, especially if there's not another 5-star freshman quarterback there. So I don't see that happening. And if that does happen, I could see Aaron Noland entering the portal, which, again, crazy if that happens.
So Aaron Noland got a lot more regional offers. He's from Langston Hughes down in Georgia.
Okay.
A lot of his offers were SEC and East Coast. Julian Sayin got offers from
everywhere,
all across the country, right? And I think Aaron Noland's a good quarterback, but I think that there's a pretty clear top 2 in Sayin and Raiola in this class. What if I told you Julian Sayin went back home to USC or UCLA?
USC would make more sense. Well, UCLA lost their quarterback as well.
Well, they lost one of them. They have a returner or 2 returners, but I don't think they're on Sayin's level, right? Dante Moore jetted up to Oregon to back up Dylan Gabriel.
Yep. USC would make more sense. And that would work. That would work. I would be okay with that. It's not like I have a choice, but
you have to. You be okay with Julian Sayan's decision, Rico.
Look,
it's not up to you. It's up to him.
I'm sorry, quarterbacks. Rico has to approve. I'm sorry. If I don't approve, you can't go. I'm sorry about it.
I'm just still a little confused by just how all in on Miller Moss USC seems to be. And here's the thing. I know that it's going to sound backhanded and weird because we're all begging for coaches and players to stick with each other, right? To have confidence in a guy enough to recruit him out of high school and then stick with him even if he doesn't play right away. Even though I think we all want that or more semblance of it in such a make or break year. Again, we talk about Ryan Day, but talk about make or break year for Lincoln Riley, who jetted out of Oklahoma, seemingly to avoid the SEC is at least the narrative.
Like a baby.
I will not be the next coach at LSU. Well, he goes to USC, and then that conference collapses, and hey, lucky you, Lincoln Riley. Guess what? You get the next best thing in the Big Ten. In a make-or-break year for USC, would you rather ride with Miller Moss or Julian Sayin?
Julian Sayin.
I think so, too.
Not even a question. Not even a question at all. I'd ride with, I guess it's a question. I don't know much about Miller Moss, but Julian Sayin, the number 1/number 2 quarterback in this class. And if you've watched him play, looks pretty darn good as well. But I'm not going to I'm not going to sit here and tout Julian Sayin as this, starting freshman quarterback, amazing person if I am downplaying Dylan Raiola doing the same thing here at Nebraska. So look, great quarterback, highly ranked quarterback. If I'm USC, UCLA, I would be chomping at the bit at getting a 5-star quarterback in this class.
Byron the Hog Farmer brings up a good point. I completely neglected to mention that Jaden Mayava, UNLV starting quarterback, committed to Georgia for like 2 days, decommitted, and then ended up at USC. So Jaden Mayava probably walks in as the day one starter.
Yeah, he started
for
UNLV.
USC. So his stats this year, UNLV went 7-4. He started 11 games, completed 63.5% of his 353 attempts for 3,000 yards, 17 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Barry Odom, the work he did at UNLV with Jaden Mayava, who's the Mountain West Freshman of the Year, second team All-Mountain West. Good player, good enough to save Lincoln Riley's job player. Seems like a bit of a wild card, right? Again, I know he's probably less of a wild card than Julian Sayin, but I'm just not sold on Mayava. Like, he's good, he's fun, but if you're Lincoln Riley and you feel confident in your job secured, would you rather ride with Jaden Mayava or say, hey, this is my developmental quarterback. Give me 2-3 years to put my thumbprints on this guy. Will be where you want me to be, Jen Cullen.
How old is Jaden Mayava?
He was just a freshman last year, so he's a sophomore this year.
So you'd be riding with Mayava for 3 more years.
2 to 3 more. Well, at least next year,
and
maybe Sayin comes in redshirts and beats him out.
If you trust your development, as Lincoln Riley, I'm sure, does with quarterbacks, he would then, have him ready for the NFL in 2 years and send him off. And then you would have Julian Sayin for redshirt, and then redshirt freshman. Then you'd have him for 2 years after that. I don't know. It would be a very strange proposition, a very strange thing to have going on. But if I'm Julian, look, if you're any university, you'd be chomping at the bit to get Julian Sayin to come to your university. And it looks like the Supernovas are done with practice now.
Good practice, ladies. That was entertaining.
Fantastic.
Brad on the text line. Are we sure Dylan is going to start?
Yes.
Short answer, yes. Long answer, we'll dive into it a little more when we get back to On the Block here. We'll also get into some NFL playoff headlines and maybe even some Husker hoops. All that and more. Got about half an hour of On the Block left here from the CHI Health Center up in Omaha, home of the Supernovas who just wrapped up practice. Back to On the Block here in just a minute.
Deer season your best yet. Come to the Nebraska Deer and Game Expo Friday, January 19th through Sunday, January 21st. Check out the hunting seminars, browse the hunting and outdoor exhibits, sign up for the Dylan Blind giveaway, compete in the Big Buck and Monster Shed contest, and try the 3D shoot and more. Buy your tickets at the door. The Nebraska Deer and Game Expo, January 19th through 21st at the Sand Hills Global Event Center in Lincoln. 84th and Havelock, presented by Whitetail Properties Real Estate.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Husker fans, your Nebraska wrestling team needs you at the Bob Devaney Sports Center for a Big Ten matchup on Sunday, January 21st against the Purdue Boilermakers. The duel will begin at 1 p.m., and the first 200 fans will receive a Nebraska wrestling blanket. For more information or to secure your tickets, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, is hosting their annual sprayer clinic at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney, Nebraska, January 31st through February 1st. Landmark Sprayer Clinic offers expansive equipment and technology training on John Deere and Hagee sprayers. Learn about the newest technology, machine maintenance, spray tip selection, exact apply sprayers, and more. Free dicamba certification will be available. Join Landmark at their sprayer clinic January 31st and February 1st in Kearney. Find more information at landmarkimp.com/events.
It's pro time, Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, are about to hit the court. Mark your calendars for January 24th at 7 p.m. when we host the first ever Pro Volleyball Federation match against the Atlanta Vibe at the CHI Health Center. Witness world-class talent, including national champions and Olympians. Don't wait. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com and become a part of history.
Next weekend, the Lincoln Stars welcome the Sioux Falls Stampede to the Icebox for the first time this season. Don't miss Princess Night on Saturday, January 20th at 6:05 p.m. Get 4 tickets and 2 tiaras and a Princess Night pack for $75 now at lincolnstars.com. Secure your seats for the Stars versus the Stampede next weekend.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rolling right along here during On the Block, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Up at the CHI Health Center in Omaha. Austin, Rico, been with you for an hour and a half, 30 minutes to go here on the show. We addressed this question briefly on the text line from Brad. Are we sure Dylan Raiola is going to start? We both gave the short answer, Rico, of yes. The yes but is yes, or the yes unless is injury, extenuating circumstance of some sort, or maybe Nebraska decides to dip into the transfer portal for an experienced bridge type of quarterback.
I think they should do that, but they won't.
But yes, even I agree 100%. Even if we think it'd be a good thing to do, and holy cow, I would have died if I'd been on the court for that.
Mm-hmm.
That would have melted my face off.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, yes, Dylan Raiola is going to be the starting quarterback. The competition for Dylan Raiola is Heinrich Harburg and Daniel Kalen. Sorry, Bodie Suckup. Sorry, Luke Longville. Jack Woach, if you're still around and on the roster.
How dare you disrespect the legend of Jack Woach like that?
I just did that. Sorry. I think the IMG Academy quarterback that won this most recent national championship will not parlay itself into an IMG Academy quarterback winning next year's national championship in the Big Ten. Call me a hater. Go for it. I don't care. Your boos mean nothing to me. Anyways, Daniel Kalen, I was a little concerned by his start to his season, but he was missing Davon Hall, Isaiah McMorris for a while up at Bellevue West, who I don't want to say they underperformed. It seemed like Westside kind of took the mantle of best team in Class A pretty early and ran with it. I think Daniel Kalen needs a couple of years of seasoning just because Westside was so far ahead. Bell West was good, but I think Dylan Raiola played more consistently high level competition, not just in Georgia, but across his stops in Texas and Arizona as well. In Heinrich Harburg, we don't know what he is, but I feel like we know what he is, right? I mean, it's a guy that was locked out of quarterback meetings a couple years ago, who was in his first year starting as a Division I college football quarterback. But I feel like we know what Heinrich Harburg is at this point. Not saying he can't grow and improve, but I didn't see enough from Heinrich Harburg to make me think he's anything at quarterback other than a backup or a spot starter. So, yes, I think it's pretty clear it's going to be Dylan Raiola, and it won't just be because of recruiting pedigree.
I mean, you've got two incoming true freshmen. You've got the redshirt junior, I believe, of Heinrich Harburg, and then the walk-on quarterbacks in the room. It's hard to envision kind of just exactly what you were saying. It's hard to envision anybody in that room usurping Dylan Raiola. Again, he's the highest ranked recruit that Nebraska's ever gotten. He's the highest ranked quarterback that Nebraska's ever gotten. You watch him play and you see that he just looks, not sure if it's actually going to translate into that high level play in college, but looks like he's already ready for the college game. So you look at that, and then you look at, Daniel Kalen, like you said, a rough start to this season for Bellevue West. Bellevue West didn't have the strongest offensive line that they've had in previous years. They were missing some wide receivers early, and it just wasn't the greatest showing by Kalen and the Bellevue West Thunderbirds. But the rest of the quarterback room is just a massive question mark. You only have one guy coming back with actual collegiate experience, and that's a guy who a lot of people think would do better at a different position. I mean, Heinrich Harburg, look, for how athletic he is, and for how hard-nosed he is, and for being a Nebraska kid, like, I appreciate all of that, and I think it's amazing. All of that is fantastic, but at the same time, he's not really, and look, I mean this in the nicest way possible, he is not really a quarterback. Like, he's not a Division I starting quarterback. He could potentially develop into that at some point, but he's already a redshirt junior. Like, I don't see it happening in this offseason. I don't see it happening next season or the season after that. But when you look at the quarterback room, really, it's Dylan Raiola and then a potential injury or something, or like you said, a transfer portal quarterback coming in. That's the only way that Raiola wouldn't be the starting quarterback. Now, to me, I think they should go out into the transfer portal and get that bridge quarterback, because I think a year on the bench watching collegiate football up close and personal, learning, going through practices and just being around it would do Raiola well, as opposed to just throwing him into the fire. We talk about that with offensive linemen, with defensive linemen, with other positions, throwing them into the fire. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. With quarterback, I think that's a dangerous proposition, kind of the same as offensive line, where if you throw them in there and they have to do certain things just to survive, just to get through the season, that can develop bad habits and bad tendencies, and you don't want that for your 5-star quarterback. But if they truly feel like he's ready, he's going to be the starter. It's really not even a question.
And here's the thing. I think two things can be true at the same time. Number one, Dylan Raiola is the quarterback who is most ready to be the starting quarterback in terms of his quarterback ability at the University of Nebraska right now. But Dylan Raiola is also not a finished product, right? He's a finished high school product, right? He tore it up at the high school level. I mean, his touchdown interception ratio, insane. His completion percentage, off the charts. We saw the arm strength of the Polynesian Bowl that's taking place tonight out in Hawaii, right? Dylan Raiola looks the part. He accomplished basically everything he could have at the high school level. He can be the guy that's most ready to take the first snaps at Nebraska without us saying he's a finished product, he's ready to go. If Dylan Raiola is a finished product by the time he steps on the field at Nebraska, something has gone terribly wrong. I expect struggles. I expect some up and down moments, right? I expect him to throw a couple bad interceptions where, I don't know if it's Phil Parker or Joe Rossi or throw another defensive coordinator out there. Just confuse him. Show him a look he's never seen before or execute a look that he saw in high school better than any high school team ever did. Dylan Raiola is not going to be perfect, right? He's going to force some throws. He's going to throw some interceptions. He's going to miss guys, same as other Nebraska quarterbacks. But the hope is that it's already fewer misses, closer misses when he does, and that he doesn't plateau. That, to me, Rico, is the biggest issue facing Nebraska quarterbacks, and it has been for basically my entire, sentient, cognizant life. When has a Nebraska quarterback gotten better year over year? I don't think we've seen it in a while. Like Tommy Armstrong, basically the same player. Again, and I say this because I'm sure that they master more behind the scenes. They get smarter, wiser, and better control of the offense. But in terms of on-field production and tangible improvement that even, Joe Schmo fan like me can notice, I feel like that's been lacking for Nebraska over the last many years.
Yeah, it hasn't been. Look, from the fan perspective, it's been tough to see any type of development in the quarterback position for Nebraska quarterbacks. I'm sure from the coaching perspective that there have been minor improvements, possibly even major improvements from each quarterback as they've gone along. But it's just been tough to see from a fan perspective, from just kind of looking out and watching them on television. You look at Adrian Martinez, do you feel like his best year was his freshman year? They tried to put on weight and he got a little bit slower. He started getting hurt all the time. Like it just it just hasn't really worked out for Nebraska quarterbacks to that level. So, I mean, you like you said, you hope he's not a finished product. You hope that there are many ways that he can improve and that does happen for Dylan Raiola when he gets to Nebraska.
I think I see Coach Saunders walking up here. I'm hoping that means she's going to be on the show with us.
Maybe. Possibly.
We'll take an early break just in case.
Yeah.
We'll take a Jake Sip and Bill.
Exactly.
Just in case. Be back maybe with Coach, or maybe we'll wrap it up with some NFL picks and some Husker basketball talk on the other side.
Husker fans, your Nebraska wrestling team needs you at the Bob Devaney Sports Center for a Big Ten matchup on Sunday, January 21st against the Purdue Boilermakers. The duel will begin at 1 p.m., and the first 200 fans will receive a Nebraska wrestling blanket. For more information or to secure your tickets, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111.
Next weekend, the Lincoln Stars welcome the Sioux Falls Stampede to the Icebox for the first time this season. Don't miss Princess Night on Saturday, January 20th at 6:05 p.m. Get 4 tickets and 2 tiaras and a Princess Night pack for $75 now at LincolnStars.com. Secure your seats for the Stars versus the Stampede next weekend.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, is hosting their annual sprayer clinic at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney, Nebraska, January 31st through February 1st. Landmark Sprayer Clinic offers expansive equipment and technology training on John Deere and Hagee sprayers. Learn about the newest technology, machine maintenance, spray tip selection, exact apply sprayers, and more. Free dicamba certification will be available. Join Landmark at their sprayer clinic January 31st and February 1st in Kearney. Find more information at landmarkimp.com/events.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Blecker and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Are you in the market for a new garage door or need to repair your old one? It's wintertime, and that means snow, wind, and freezing temperatures, all things that can cause sticky locks and damage to your garage door. If you're experiencing any issues with your commercial or residential garage door during the winter months, call Cameron Hall and his team at Doors Plus. Don't be trapped outside in the cold because of a poorly maintained garage door. Call Doors Plus today at 402-590-5800 or visit them online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Make the 2024 deer season your best yet. Come to the Nebraska Deer and Game Expo Friday, January 19th through Sunday, January 21st. Check out the hunting seminars, browse the hunting and outdoor exhibits, sign up for the Dylan Blind giveaway, compete in the Big Bucket Monster Shed contest, and try the 3D shoot and more. Buy your tickets at the door. The Nebraska Deer and Game Expo, January 19th through 21st at the Sand Hills Global Event Center in Lincoln. 84th and Havelock, presented by Whitetail Properties Real Estate.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Old School with DP and J.
DPGM. What are you going to do to Caleb Williams? What are you going to do? You going to draft him?
No.
You're not going to draft him?
No, I don't. Here's my thing. I don't want anybody to know. I'm not going to bring poison into my program because that's what it would be. He's letting you know he's poison. He's venom. Why would I put poison in my own soup?
Maybe you think you're a mongoose. You can't.
I have zero.
You're a mongoose. You can take the Cobra venom.
93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're wrapping up On the Block here from the CHI Health Center in downtown Omaha. Supernovas are done with practice. Does not mean that we're done with our show. Still a lot to get to in the NFL. Let's just really quickly make our picks here, Rico, for the divisional round before we wrap up with some Husker hoops. We'll start in the AFC. Houston and Baltimore Ravens hosting the Texans. Not against the spread, just straight up who wins, who loses.
Lamar Jackson finally gets that elusive playoff win, and C.J. Stroud continues to be a loser. Baltimore gets it done.
Lamar's 0-2 in the divisional round in his career. The Texans as a franchise are 0-4.
All right, Lamar is better.
I don't know about that.
He's better.
Technically, Lamar's had fewer opportunities than the entire Texans franchise.
Exactly, so he's better.
Okay, we'll go with that.
I don't know, man.
The other AFC game, Kansas City and Buffalo. Been a while since these two teams have met in Buffalo in the playoffs, but they've had some fantastic regular season games. Of course, the game 2 years ago, the overtime winner, the thrilling last minute and a half at Arrowhead Buffalo at home. Buffalo favored by about a field goal. Bills win, Chiefs win.
Happy wife, happy life, Kansas City, baby.
But do you actually believe that?
Yes, I actually do. I actually think Kansas City, for the first time in Patrick Mahomes' NFL career, are playing a playoff game on the road, away from the friendly confines of Arrowhead Stadium. I still think he gets it done, and the Chiefs go on to the AFC Championship.
The one game this weekend taking place in a dome.
Are you sure about that?
I promise you that Detroit plays in a dome.
All
they host
right.
Tampa Bay. Bucks stay hot. The Lions get their second playoff win in 32 years.
CJ Gardner-Johnson is going to be in trouble from his head coach if the Bucks do anything crazy. They're going to target him. Like Baker Mayfield is going to target CJ Gardner-Johnson, and it, deservedly so. But I think that the Lions keep the magical season rolling, and Dan Campbell is able to bite some more kneecaps as the Lions get it done.
Niners and
unless
Packers.
Trey Palmer wakes up pissed off, then that's at least
that
one
would be
touchdown.
unstoppable force meeting immovable objects.
That would be at least one touchdown for the Bucks, at least.
Oh yeah, it is a thing though. Like go back and check Trey Palmer's tweets of days he woke up pissed
There's
off.
been one game where he hasn't scored.
Track record.
One game where he hasn't scored, and 2 games where he scored 2 touchdowns. So he's pretty good.
There you go. Niners and Packers. I feel like the Niners have owned that series in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay, I think, still playing with some house money. I said this with Jay yesterday. It's hard for me to pick against San Francisco being rested, being at home, looking as good as they did for as long as they did throughout the season. The one way Green Bay wins this game is if Jordan Love continues to go off. San Francisco's pass defense hasn't been perfect. When they were getting beat, that was why. I don't think it's likely, but I think the path for Green Bay is to put it on the right shoulder of Jordan Love.
Even if you put it on the right shoulder of Jordan Love, I don't think his shoulders are broad enough or strong enough to carry this team past this vaunted San Francisco 49ers team. I think Brock Purdy, the last pick in the draft, keeps it going, and the 49ers move on to the NFC Championship to face the Lions. Although that game is weird. I don't think Green Bay is going to win, but looking at Jordan Love's stats, and I understand, people are going to say, oh, Brock Purdy hasn't played, every snap of every game, whatever. They have the same stats.
They're eerily similar.
Like, it's very weird. And Green Bay's defense has taken a small tick up from what they have been doing all season. Like you said, San Francisco's pass defense isn't as strong as you would think it is, but that defensive line and linebacking core is very formidable.
The game taking place closer to home this weekend, Nebraska men's basketball. The 93-94 team is being honored. Didn't want to steal too much of Strick's thunder, right? He and Bach talked a lot about that. But Nebraska Northwestern at 115. I don't love the matchup for Nebraska in terms of the Boo Buie factor. Boo Buie baller is really what he is. He's an incredible player. I think that's the path for Northwestern to win this game is get a big game from Boo Buie, and Nebraska doesn't shoot it well. Even down Juwan Gary, though, I think that this isn't a need to have it, got to have it game for Nebraska, but I think it feels like it. And I think the team needs to feel like it too, not in the sense of, oh crap, we lose this, our season is over. It's, hey, we're back to being written off again. All we've done is lose 2 games in a row. We didn't play well, come out with something to prove and find a way to make like 200 some alums of your program proud with a big win on a big day.
Nebraska went from the hunter to the hunted back to the hunter, and I think they play better when they're underdogs. I think they play better when they're underestimated and written off, and this is the exact time to do that. And again, not to, get back into NCAA tournament discussions because you never should have left there. Like, you still have a good enough resume to be there, but it is just to get back on the right track, just to get back and get some confidence back in yourselves. Because right now it just seems like with those 2 road losses and with what the fans are saying, that this team is just kind of down on themselves. You end up losing Juwan Gary for a couple of days. He only got a calf strain. Could have been much worse. Looked like it was much worse. But with that injury and knowing that he will be back, look, I mean, bring him back to a strong team. Don't bring him back to a team that's floundering and he has to try and help you and quote unquote save your season. Look, keep it going. You know you have a deep team. You know you have a strong team. Show everybody what you already know.
I said this on the block yesterday. You and I didn't get a chance to talk much basketball during happy hour.
No, we did
but
not.
I essentially pulled out the Aaron Rodgers RELAX.
I heard
people.
you. I heard
you
that.
know, like, and I go back to that, right? The way Nebraska has lost, the way Nebraska has looked, frustrating, disappointing for a team that I think, has its sights set high. But I think Strix raised a good point that this team kind of feels like it needs a come to Jesus moment, right? A come together, get on the same page sort of meeting. The fact that Juwan Gary isn't out all year, I think you just piece it together while he recovers. But here's the thing. Nebraska's a bubble team. I've said it all year. I even put this out here, Rico, yesterday. So at On The Block 937 is the new Twitter account that we created for everything you need for the show.
Go look at it. Go follow it
Go look
now.
at it. Go follow it. Yes, please. I just asked this question yesterday. Nebraska men's basketball is a what? A solid NCAA tournament team, an NCAA bubble team, an NIT host team, or an NIT bubble team. One person said solid NCAA team. One person said NIT bubble team. Other than that, the highest percentage of an answer was NIT host team.
I feel like people have written them off way too quickly.
Way too quickly because of how Nebraska fans view basketball. They are not used to a bubble team, they bubble resume. Nebraska's resume has not been in this good a shape in so long. Now the work isn't done, right? And I think that's the fear. But for all the people on Twitter and social media and on the text line asking, well, how often do teams beat the number one team and miss the NCAA tournament? Nebraska moved down a seed line, maybe two, over the last week with the losses against Iowa and Rutgers. But Nebraska owns one of the best wins in the country right now. I think Michigan State win will keep looking better. Duquesne is going to be solid. You dominate your neutral site performance.
The Indiana game looks
Indiana should appreciate in value. You're fine, right? There's still work to do, but this is life as a bubble team. Get used to it because this team isn't so good to has leave no doubt by, the end of February. But it's also not bad enough to completely fall out of the picture, right? Just as soon as you're out, they will reel you back in. That's what we're finding with this team.
Look, that's just Nebraska sports, men's sports in a nutshell. As soon as you start writing them off, that's when they start doing something crazy. I mean, how many times has Nebraska been out of, and they've never gotten themselves back into the picture, but been out of the picture by the time the Big Ten tournament starts, and then they reel off 2-3 wins, and you're like, wait a minute, if they win two more, then they get right back into it, and then they get blown out because they run out of gas. But that's exactly what they do, they're going to, lose a couple games where you think that they shouldn't lose, where they should definitely get a win, or at least be competitive and get close wins. But then they're going to come back, and they're going to win some games where you're like, you had no business winning that game. You should not have won that game. There's no way that should have happened. But it's going to happen. They're going to get right back into the thick of things. And like you said, this is life on the bubble. This is what a bubble team is like. And Nebraska is never going to be that far and away like, oh, yeah, they're locked in. That's a top 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. Like that's not going to happen. So at least I not anywhere in the near future, I don't think. But look, you're on the bubble. You're going to lose a couple. You're going to win a couple, but you're going to be, as of right now, firmly on that bubble.
Swift and Lincoln is asking, how many wins do you think it'll take to make the tournament? I've said this before. It bears repeating. To me, it's less about the hard number of wins and which wins it is that you actually get. 20 is a good number to shoot for. If you get to 20, you should feel pretty good. I think if you win the right games, if you win on the road at Illinois somehow, if you get Wisconsin at home and you beat them, you split with Ohio State, you now split with Rutgers. You can't lose to Penn State at home. I think you got to at least split with Michigan, if not sweep that. The schedule sets up pretty favorably for Nebraska. And here's the thing. I can hear it. I can read it already. This is Nebraska basketball. I can't take anything for granted. I know.
Too late. Already did.
Yes. Nebraska is not going to be in the midst of a 7-8 game losing streak this year, right? It's just not going to happen with this team. It's too veteran. It's too mature. The schedule sets up too well.
You say that now.
Let's just look at last year's tournament, right? So if Nebraska is being projected as, let's start with the 11 seeds here. Okay, so last year's 11 seeds, NC State went 23-10, matched up with Creighton in the first round. Pittsburgh ended up winning their game. They were that 19-20 range. You have, where are we at here? Arizona State was in that 19-20 range out of the Pac-12. Providence went 21-11 in the Big East. The 8 and 9 seeds went like 26-8. Florida Atlantic was 31-3. Arkansas hit 20. Illinois hit 20 in that 8-9 matchup. Iowa last year was an 8 seed with 19 wins. Auburn was a 9 with 20. Maryland won 21 games in the Big Ten and it was an 8 seed. West Virginia won 19 in the Big 12 and was a 9 seed, right? So I think, again, 18 or 19 wins. You've banked a huge chip in the Purdue win.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can't afford any more or too many more losses like Rutgers. But the way I phrased it yesterday was Nebraska blew the game against Rutgers. It absolutely did not blow its season. Everything Nebraska wants to accomplish is still on the table, and you hope there's a sense of urgency and competitive spirit that invigorates this team, because you can turn a good season into an even better season if you find a way to hold on to a 12-point lead at 2 different points in the game against Rutgers. If you show up against Iowa, if you don't blow that big halftime lead against Minnesota, right? This is a good team. I feel confident in saying that. I will not say this is a great team. It is not an all-time Nebraska team, but it's still on the table because you have, yes, an easier slate ahead of you, but also enough opportunities for quality wins as well that you can have people taking you seriously by the time you get to March.
I don't know what else to say. I feel like you took everything.
I feel bad for doing that.
No, you're good. Look, when it comes to Nebraska basketball, I am not the guy to come to. You are definitely, outside of Strick, you're definitely the guy to go to for Nebraska basketball. So whatever you say, I'm probably going to believe it.
I appreciate that. Let's go to Swift again, who says, you probably can't afford to lose one at home from this point on. Here's the thing. Northwestern is a fringe top 25 team.
That's
you should find a way to win this game, but it's also not crippling if you lose.
No, that was a team that was in the top 25 preseason and has a all Big Ten first team point guard. And when you think of NCAA tournaments, it's one at the point guard position. So that is a team where if you do end up losing at home, it sucks. It's going to hurt. But again, you're down Juwan Gary for a couple of games. You don't want to lose this game, but if you do, this is probably one of the better home losses that you'll have.
You turn around then on Tuesday with Ohio State, who was a weird team last year, has bounced back for the most part this year, but did just lose at Michigan. So I don't know what to make of Ohio State. Coming home, I bet that's a game that's a single-digit margin of victory either way. Yes. I give Nebraska more than a chance in that one. You get another crack at Wisconsin to start off February. They'll be ranked. We know what Wisconsin can do. Maybe I have to put more respect on their name, but I still think Nebraska is a better matchup for Wisconsin than they showed.
You got them at home.
You get Michigan at home. You get Penn State at home in mid-February.
That's one you can't lose. You cannot lose that one.
No, you get Minnesota at home in late February, and you get Rutgers at home for senior night.
You've already shown and proven that you can and should have beaten Minnesota on the road, that you can and should should have been blown out by Rutgers based on the offensive rebounds, but you were right there and should have finished off Rutgers.
But the flip side of that is you should have blown Rutgers out. You got it by 12 2 different times.
Exactly. Those are two teams that you know that you can beat and that you match up pretty well with. So those are two teams that you go having them at home is going to be massive, and you should win those games. Again, Nebraska basketball at home is a different beast, so we'll see exactly what happens with them. But I like their chances.
Okay, so Nebraska sits at 13-5 right now, 3-4 in the conference. Okay, so running through the schedule again, find a way to beat Northwestern, find a way to beat Ohio State. Maryland's a coin flip. They always play better at home. I don't know if you beat Wisconsin, but that would be probably your second best win behind Purdue at this point.
That'd be a big one.
Illinois looks better, and I thought they would without Terrence Shannon, and you've never really played well in the State Farm Center. Going to Northwestern will be tough, but Michigan at home, I think Nebraska's favored in. Penn State is going to be absolutely obnoxious. Watch out for Kanye Clary and, your boy, Kanye Clary. And
we're probably related at some point.
Somewhere down the line. Ace Baldwin Jr. also is a stud for Penn State. Going to Indiana is going to be tough, but you've proven you can match up with them. Nebraska should be favored against Minnesota. Going to Columbus is going to be tough. Should be favored against Rutgers on senior night. And then I think Michigan is going to be in full-on quit mode when you go up to Ann Arbor. I know that is a building that has not been kind to Nebraska. But, again, RELAX, calm down. There's enough opportunities.
That's like 7 wins if Nebraska, again, it's not like we're asking them to do too much. Just take care of business and play the way that everyone has seen and knows that you can play. And that's 6-7 more wins on the schedule.
If you go 500 the rest of the way, if you win 7 games, you get to 20. You're 20-11 going into the Big Ten tournament. If you go 6-7, again, if you win the right games and avoid the right losses, you're at 19-12. Now, you would feel much better about your chances if you beat someone of any value in the Big Ten tournament, right? You should never go 1 and done in the Big Ten tournament. but especially with hopes, right? Like win a game, stay there, Thursday into Friday, play both days, heck, win Thursday and Friday, play on into Saturday, depending on matchups and how other teams are looking. But everything that Nebraska wants to accomplish is certainly on the table. Last thing, Rico, Strick and I got into this a little bit yesterday, or maybe it was Bach and I a couple days ago, I forget. But I want your aspect of this too, covering the Nebraska women's basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think they've got the regular season figured out. They're going to be a solid team night to night in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, the biggest question facing Amy Williams in that program is how do they get over the postseason hump? Nebraska's made it to the NCAA tournament on a somewhat regular basis, but haven't been able to get a win in a while. Is the rest of the regular season, does it still hold value for Nebraska in that a lot of its goals and finishing in the top half of the Big Ten and top 3 or 4 in the Big Ten are still on the table? Or in your view, should Amy Williams, her coaching staff, or players take every game seriously, but throw out some adjustments that they think will help them and that they'll need in postseason play, caring more about that than the regular season?
This team is not good enough to focus on postseason play right now. This team is solid enough that they should make the postseason, but they've had too many lulls during this regular season that they can't take any game for granted. They can't try to make adjustments unless they're already blowing a team out. So for now, you have to focus on the regular season. You have to focus on finishing in the top half of the Big Ten to then hopefully make some type of run in the Big Ten tournament. Again, you should make the NCAA tournament again this year. But you never know. This has been a very strange basketball season, both men's and women's. So as long as it's the same with the women, as long as they win the right games, they'll make the NCAA tournament. And then with the experience that they have, their postseason success, their postseason lulls should potentially, depending on the matchup, end this year, as long as the two most important players on the team, Jazz Shelley and Alexis Markowski, show up in the postseason. Because 2 years ago against Gonzaga, it was a little tough. Granted, Markowski was a freshman, but we'll see exactly what happens. And then last year in the NIT, you lose. You lose. Oh my goodness, I'm spacing right now. You lose your
Sam Hybe.
Yeah, you lose Sam Hybe in the game before you have to go down to Kansas, and she would have done wonders in leading that offense. And look, you have a point guard in Darian White, where if you allow her to run the offense and let Jazz Shelley go off ball, which is what they were doing in non-conference play, you're going to have success. She's going to have a lot more success. So this team can't focus right now on the postseason. You have to focus on the regular season and getting the right wins and stacking some W's, because you've lost some games that you probably shouldn't lose, and you've played really badly and still won some games, luckily, in other contests. So look, the women's basketball team is a fun team to watch. They're really solid, but they need to focus on what's in front of them.
Bach, you can hit our music here. We'll give this news and get out. The U.S. Central District Court of Illinois has granted Terrence Shannon Jr.'s motion for a temporary restraining order. So he's being accused of sexual assault, rape down in Kansas at the Illinois-Kansas game. His legal team won. They get their temporary restraining order. Huge news for Illinois because Terrence Shannon Jr. can now return to the court. It's been a few games without him.
Will they play him?
They will absolutely play him if they can play. It's a big year for Brad Underwood. Illinois has been playing well, but they were, top 10, top 15 team in the country with him. Yes, Terrence Shannon Jr. will play. Regardless of how you feel about it, that's the news. It's been a blast up here at the CHI Health Center. For Rico, I'm Austin. We're looking forward to the Supernovas here in 5 days. Stay tuned to 93.7 The Ticket for all of that. And, of course, old school. You got Jay Foreman and Bach in the building taking you through from 4 to 6. It's been fun up in Omaha. Rico and I will talk to you on Monday.
Adios.
Make the 20